Built an AI assistant that closes deals whilst I sleep. It's called an AI setter, and it will replace your whole sales team that are managing conversations with leads. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how it works, exactly how you can set it up so it can consistently book calls into your calendar. And just like us, you can stay fully booked with sales calls coming in on autopilot. Don't forget the feeling. It's one of the coolest things in the world, waking up and seeing calls booked into your calendar without you having done anything. Waking up and having calls booked in whilst you were asleep, and then looking at conversations and seeing rapport being built and leads being qualified before they're even booked in. Business owners are against AI, so in this video I will show you how this outperforms a human. It works 24/7, it's practically free to run, and it will have even more results than a human could ever bring you. Before we get into it, one of the first points to realize is your mindset needs to change. As a business owner, we're often stuck with the belief that if we want to scale our sales, we need to scale our team and hire a bigger sales team. We need to hire people that will sit in our DMs, outbounding leads and booking in calls. Gone are the days of needing to hire if you want to grow your sales. Instead, I'll show you what to implement so you can have healthier profit margins and you can actually build a business with far less stress. To be honest with you, this is the mindset that I also had when I first started my first business over 7 years ago. But if you watch through this video, I will show you how your mindset will change and how this will change the landscape of your business forever. Instead, what the most successful business owners are doing is they're realizing that leverage doesn't come from relying on people, it comes from relying on systems that are a lot more predictable. Everyone always tells you that you need to implement AI, but no one shows you exactly what and how to do. So in this video, I'm going to show you what software that you need, how to build it, and how you can train it so that it can consistently keep improving the more that it works with you. Just like a staff member, the more that they work with you, the more that they understand your business, the more experience that they have. The same goes with the AI setter. So let's dive into it. Now, the amazing reality is we live in a world where we don't need hundreds of different softwares to implement an AI system that will replace human beings. We went from having multiple different setters that we were paying full-time salaries to manage DM conversations to now having an AI system that does pretty much all of the workload for us, 95%. Now that 5% that the AI doesn't do, all we then do is we have a VA who just sends the first message to new followers. So this is essentially the flow that we run. We have a new follower on Instagram, or we have someone that engages with our content. We will have a virtual assistant who will send the first message. When that lead then replies, AI kicks in, the AI setter, and has the rest of the conversation through to the point of booking the call. If the conversation then goes dead, the virtual assistant will send one follow-up message, and then when the lead replies, the conversation then continues on. So essentially what we've done is we've taken it from the point of a human having to have the whole conversation to now AI having the majority of it and the human just sending the follow-ups. And here's how we do it. Inside our platform, Systemized to Scale, what we then do is we build what we call Conversation AI, which is an AI agent. Now, what this AI agent does is we give the AI agent a personality in terms of how we want it to sound, a goal in terms of what is the outcome that we want it to have, additional instructions, which is ultimately the SOP, the standard operating practice, which essentially means that we can take a set key principles, we can give it to the AI, and the AI will follow that just like a staff member. But the benefit with this is staff members sometimes lean away from the SOP because there's human judgment. With AI, the AI is always going to follow that criteria. So that's then the key criteria that it follows. What we then also add in, you'll see here we have knowledge base, and we then build out a specific knowledge base for the AI, which we're constantly continuing to build out ours with even more context based off conversations that we're having. So the cool thing with this is it's a piece of AI that will constantly develop the more that it's used. So our AI now is significantly better than when we first launched it, purely because it has more context. So the way that the AI system then is essentially in play is we have a knowledge base, which is essentially what it uses for context. And then inside the AI, inside Conversation AI, we then have the personality, which is how it essentially sounds, the goal in terms of how, essentially what its outcome is, and then the additional instructions, which is ultimately the SOP that it follows. When we're building our AI setter, the cool thing with this is we basically have 3 different modes that we can put it in. We have off if it's not active, suggestive mode where it will suggest replies before they're sent. So you can then use this to test it. And when it suggests these replies, you can tweak them, it will then learn, and then you send it, and then it consistently learns after that. Once you're happy with it, you can then put it into autopilot mode and it will then just run like ours, which means that when a lead sends us a message, it then runs instantly. What we then do is we can select all of the different channels that we want it to run on, essentially every key channel. We're just running ours on Instagram, on multiple different accounts, and on our sales WhatsApp number. Then down here, we add essentially the criteria in terms of how we want it to interact. What's the wait time? Because it's definitely a key line between replying quickly and replying too slowly. When it replies too quick, it looks like AI. When it replies too slow, the lead goes cold. So we found that 45 seconds is a very sort of happy medium where it's quick, but then also if the message is longer, it then still makes sense that a human could have typed that. What we then set is the number of key messages that the bot will send before it turns off. We set 25. This 25 then means that if the conversation is going on past 25 messages from the lead, it will pause, and then it means a human can jump in, because probably after that, if it's got to that point, there's clearly something that's not quite gelled, because it wouldn't really take 25 back and forth messages to get a lead booked in. What we then do down here is the bot can even obviously transcribe messages, but it can transcribe images and voice notes, which then means that even if a lead is sending us voice notes, it will still understand what they're saying, transcribe it, and then send back a reply based on the criteria that we have. Cool thing with this as well is it can also do multiple different languages. So then if leads are sending us different languages, it can reply in those languages too. And then if a human jumps in, what we then do is we have it turn off for 48 hours before turning back on, so that means a human can have that conversation. What we then do is inside bot training, we then give it a whole knowledge base, and then it uses the knowledge base that we mentioned earlier for context, and we can then test it here. When we're testing it, we can then say, yeah, I like the reply. No, I don't like the reply. Instead, reply like this, and then it learns for next time. So it's as if you're reviewing a staff member's messages. What we then do inside the bot goal is we build out essentially the whole personality for it to follow. We then also build out the whole goal for it to follow. And then we build out all of the additional information for it to follow. So it's essentially got an SOP. What this then means is just like a staff member, if you bring a staff member and you train them, it follows the same criteria for that. You'll see up here that we then select also the model that we want it to run on. We use ChatGPT 4.1. We found that if we're going up to sort of ChatGPT 5 and onwards, it expands the points too much and tries to go into too much detail. And then as a result, it just sounds robotic and the messages get too long. What this then means is before we put it live, we can then test it. So we'll put it through a live test conversation now. So, hey, I've been following you for a while and find your content really valuable. You'll see the bot will then come back here, and then we'll see a live example. Appreciate you saying that. Glad that the content's been useful. How's business been going for you recently? Then we can say, yes, I like that, or no, I don't. If we say no, I don't, what it will then do is we can then essentially teach it so next time it learns. For example, we could then say next time, appreciate you saying that, glad the content's been useful. Which pieces of content have you found most valuable? Then we can save it into our knowledge base, and then it means that it will then learn for next time. So I've been running my business for 10 years, but really looking to scale as I've been stuck at 10K a month for the last 12 months. The AI will then come back and we can keep iterating and training it so then it keeps improving every single time. Makes sense. Being stuck at that level can feel frustrating after so long. What part of your business feels the most clunky or slow right now? Cool. So now it's digging deeper. I feel I have good months, then I get stuck fulfilling the work, and then once I'm up to date, I haven't marketed to get more clients. It's like a yo-yo cycle. AI will come back and we can then keep training it this way, and then we can push it live. And then when it's live, it's then going to just run for us. But every time that we make an adjustment, it learns that instantly and then implements it straight away. I get that, it's common. I get that cycle, it's common. The reason I ask is that pattern usually means revenue is leaking when you're stuck in fulfillment. What would it mean for you if that stopped? I mean, that would change my revenue so much, I think. So you'll notice with ours is a little bit more direct because we're selling business to business. If you're selling business to consumer, generally you need to make it slower in terms of the speed that it probes for questions. But we're finding when we're speaking to business owners, being more direct is better. Totally, that shift can make a huge difference. Just so I understand, is it mainly lead generation and follow-up that drops off when you're busy, or is it something else? Yeah, definitely lead gen and follow-ups. It's just the last thing on my mind, to be honest. Cool. You'll then see that it comes back and we can then keep training it. That's really common, especially when you're in deep client work. The reason I ask, most people lose most revenue from leads slipping through the cracks. If nothing changed and this cycle kept repeating, what would that mean for your business over the next 12 months? Well, I'd stay pretty stagnant, to be honest. Makes sense, and that's not what you want after a decade in business. So it's also then remembering parts from the conversation above. And a big thing with this is you'll notice that the AI then also has a micro memory per contact. So then it will remember key things per contact on a conversational level too. So then, if in a year's time I came back into this conversation, it would then remember that I said I was in business for 10 years. Out of curiosity, have you tried any systems or automations before to handle lead gen and follow up, or has it all been manual so far? So you'll see the cool thing with AI is we can literally train it up to the point that it replaces a human being. And we've literally just implemented this system in our business. We've booked far more sales calls because we've had far more speed to lead. We've then been able to open up the ability to run top of funnel ad campaigns as a result of it. And as a result, we can then drive a significant amount of volume into our top of funnel campaign because we can actually do something with the volume. And the majority of businesses, they don't do anything with new followers that come through. They don't do anything with new engagement that comes through. And that's the reason their business is stuck. A lot of businesses don't have a lead generation problem. They just have an actual conversational problem. And we were the same. And as a result, we've scaled ads, we've brought more leads in, we've booked more calls than ever, and the calls have been way more higher intent because they've had conversations beforehand. And as a result, we've replaced our whole setting team, apart from one VA that sends follow-ups and new conversations for us. And you can implement the same. You can replace your team, and AI will allow you to then outperform your competitors because we can now scale budget far more aggressively because we don't have that human barrier. The AI can have hundreds of conversations all at once, so it's not a case that if we've got loads of leads, the human is the bottleneck.